And most clients come to us thinking that their offer automatically works, right? And they think that only because they've had some success with ads, or maybe they've gotten to a point of scale, they're spending 5, 10, $15,000 a month, and they're happy with a, return on ad spend of a 1.5 or a 2. But we would look at that and go, what else could we do to incrementally build that up? Could we get it to a 2.4? Could we get that to a 3?
Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to another episode. It's called Holters with your host, Mitt, a show where entrepreneurs, creators, and marketers share their best stories and insights. This show is brought to you by Social Marketing Writing. Today I'm joined by David Schloss, who's the owner and founder of Convert ROI, a social advertising agency where he has overseen over $300 million in ad spend, working with over 1,000 clients. Hi, David. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you for having me on.
Can you tell my listeners more about what you do and more about Convert ROI?
Yeah, so I, from the surface level of things, I'm a professional media buyer, right? So I run social advertising campaigns for businesses in all sorts of various industries, right? So I got my start very early on, back when there weren't that many ad platforms to run ads on, especially social media. Facebook's ad platform only came around in 2007. I happened to be starting in 2007. And so I run ads on Meta, I run ads on Google, which is also, with YouTube, TikTok, and I've obviously dabbled with other platforms too, but we are commissioned to primarily focus on Meta, Google, and TikTok. And that involves everything from the strategy to the content creation, the audience building, all of it. And then we handle that for those companies. And, that's how we get paid as an agency.
Okay, so you're not just running their ads, but you're also building their funnels and coming up with their offers and all that stuff?
Yeah, if they don't have funnels built out, we help them with that. If they need landing page critiques or conversion analysis and some other optimization for a conversion rate, we're dealing with that as well. Help with copy. Think of it as pretty much full stack. But they know that our strong suit is the advertising side, and that's what I'm most known for, right? When people think of, who do I go to for Facebook advertising or Instagram advertising, I'm oftentimes one of those people that comes up in a conversation, and then we integrate those other things along the way as we're working with the companies.
Okay, and what would you say is actually more important, running the ads itself or getting the offer and the funnel right?
Definitely the offer,
Okay.
because I could distribute any message on any platform, but if your message doesn't align with the people that need your solution to their problem, then the advertising is only going to distribute the wrong message, right? And so we need to make sure that your offer is dialed into solving the problem in that marketplace, right? And that takes as much effort as figuring out what ad gets a click. And most clients come to us thinking that their offer automatically works, right? And they think that only because they've had some success with ads, or maybe they've gotten to a point of scale, they're spending 5, 10, $15,000 a month, and they're happy with a, return on ad spend of a 1.5 or a 2. But we would look at that and go, what else could we do to incrementally build that up? Could we get it to a 2.4? Could we get that to a 3? And that's where we're consistently making those changes of, is it a copy related change? Is it email on the back end? Can we make an additional offer to increase the average order value? And so as much as I could say, yeah, we're the best at ads and we do all these things with the ads, it's like a small tweak to the offer can make the ads look like they're performing exponentially better than they really are. And so we oftentimes will tell our clients, as much as we want to focus on the ads and say it's our fault for something not converting, we also have to look at the messaging that's being delivered for the offer that you put out there.
Okay. And do you prefer uh, running ads to any specific type of funnel or all are equal to you?
I like phone call funnels, right? So getting an application to a phone call, especially when the survey can truly filter out leads that are qualified versus not, because it makes it very easy for the sales team to know the person they're about to talk to is a hyper qualified individual. You just have to do your job in making sure that they understand why you're the right solution for them, right? And we're
Okay.
really good at delivering the right message to high quality, oftentimes high income individuals. But the most low resistant, easy to run funnel that we could scale to the moon is oftentimes a low ticket funnel. And that allows us to put multiple offers in there that, once again, the only thing we really have to make sure is that the delivery of the product is great and that the customers are taken care of. And of course, down the road, we might incorporate coaching or something else that's high ticket, maybe a service where there's more of a hand holding situation. But at least we know when we're selling something that's $17, $27, 97. The deliverable, as long as it's strong and it does its job that you're saying it's going to do for you, it's the easiest funnel to promote, because all we have to do is just convince or show people why they need this. They buy it. We're out the way. We wait. We wait and see what they need. And if we get the customer acquisition cost low enough to where we can keep funneling in more and more buyers, all the client has to do is just watch us do our job. And they don't ask us any questions. We just keep running traffic and make sure the right people are coming into the funnel. The reason it's the least amount of resistance is because the client themselves doesn't really get involved in that customer process until later into the funnel, right? Whether they're doing coaching or a service deployment, or maybe they have a high ticket membership where they have to do more of like, integrating with their customer base. That's fine. And we want them to have that. But the $97 product or the 27, it's just deliver it and make sure it's up to date, amazing information where people can, get value from it. They don't have to do much else other than that. So
Okay.
we love those funnels.
Okay. And when you do those book a call funnels,
Yeah.
you have like a VSL up front?
Yeah. So we have a VSL up front. We'll test anything from a 5-minute video to as much as a 30-minute video, right? Really depends on what it is we're selling. And on top of that, we have done some where it's direct to the VSL and we only collect information when they book the call. But we've also done some where it's, we'll get a name, email, phone number up front, maybe for a case study or some other deliverable for free. And then the VSL is after that. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a thank you page, but it's just after they've opted in. Now they see the VSL. And then the second piece that we're grabbing in terms of information is now we're getting their name, email, phone number when they want to get on a call, and then any other additional information that we're requesting. So we've done it both ways. Honestly, most people who take the option of going straight to the VSL and booking, they basically perform the same as those who take the 2-step approach of getting their name, email, phone number first, delivering something, and then booking a call after. Like, we haven't seen much of a difference other than your email list is much larger with the second option. That's it.
Okay. And do you do something similar with the low ticket ones too? Because I've noticed that when some people are running low ticket offers, they ask them to add their email address first before they send to a checkout page.
Yeah.
And do you do something like that for the low ticket ones too?
We've done that. I wouldn't say it's made a huge difference. Yes, you can remarket and also, send out follow-up email for someone who hadn't finished the purchase. But we haven't seen that made a huge difference comparative to if we just have the order form on the page for them to fill out, and then they can just complete their purchase on that page. For us, we just see more people finishing their order when the order form is already on that main page. And so we'll send them straight to that VSL, or sometimes it's just a plain text page, fill in their info, click purchase. Thank you page might have an upsell or a bump offer, and then we just take it from there. But we don't oftentimes see a huge difference in overall conversion or performance overall when we get the email first as a step 1, and then the rest of the information on step 2. To me, it's just an additional step you don't really need. You might as well just have it all in one place.
Okay. And what's your most preferred low ticket product for the upfront offer? Is it an ebook or a course or something else?
So lately, we have found that I wouldn't necessarily call it a course. It's more of like a mini course. So there is still a framework, like PDF attached to it. So it's almost like a checklist of actions you can take. But think of it as, imagine you're having an issue with getting webinar registrants. This is a good example, right?
Mhm.
If I could show you the 10 steps I take in order to fill your webinar, and I can present that in 3 videos. I'm not going to tell you how long they are, but I could say, I could show you how to fill your webinars with highly qualified leads that will buy your product, and it's $27. You'd be like, yes, take my money. And all I have to do is deliver that in 2 to 3 videos from setup to finish with this checklist to follow to make sure you do each of these, build these audiences. These are the types of ads you need. And, here's some examples of those ads, maybe even some templates of those ads. And you do that for yourself and you plug it in. That's the product. It's just, I'm showing you exactly how I would deploy the campaigns to fill your webinar, right? But the upsell could be, do you want the whole funnel? Do you want the templates of the whole funnel? Do you want the templates of how we advertise not just the front end offer, but then how we do our retargeting campaigns? Do you want to know how we also do the email follow-up? Each of those extra pieces is a part of either a bump offer or an upsell, right? And so all I'm doing on that front end offer is just what's the one solution I can provide to you. Your problem is I can't get webinar registrants. My solution is here's my process on how you can do it. And it's in 3 videos, right? And that's it. And so I like to do that style. It doesn't take a lot of time. Those 3 videos could be an hour total, right? And it's just me basically doing a webinar, but breaking it down into 3 pieces, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Yeah.
Here's my templates. Basically, ads that have done well. Maybe I'll throw it into Canva and send you the template files in Canva or Photoshop files. And then for the framework, it's just a 1 or 2 page PDF that we nicely designed and delivered. Follow everything that's in the videos. Here's the framework. Here's the templates. Go do it, right? And that's it. That's the whole thing. Which keep in mind, for someone like me and as an agency, we have this stuff sitting around all day because we create this stuff all the time. So it's just me packaging up what I already use and then going, all right, how much do I want to charge for this?
Okay. Okay. And once you have this sort of funnel ready, what's your most preferred social network to run ads on?
So I'm always starting on Meta first,
Okay.
right? Facebook, Instagram. That's where I'm the most proficient.
Okay.
We'll say that TikTok is interesting because TikTok, if your low ticket product, specifically anything 97 or less, can address making money in some way, affiliate marketing, making money with TikTok Shop, making money with whatever it may be, anything make money, it will do well on TikTok. It will do well, right?
Okay.
Now for me, I'm more of a strategist. So it's like I run ads. You have to spend money to do what I do. It's tricky over there, right? So I don't necessarily run TikTok ads to stuff about running ads, but I will do that on Meta because a lot of people on Meta run Meta ads and they just want to make their stuff better, right? But I would start on Meta. I would also run Google search for anyone searching my name, searching with the name of the product, the name of my university. Convert University is my main course. So it's like I would, put some stuff out for that. Basically, anything that's branded, I would make sure that retargets to the course in search. And then I would also run Meta ads and just keep following people around. But if you have a make money opportunity, definitely throw some TikTok in there. And if you have a YouTube audience, you could do YouTube ads. But if you don't even worry about YouTube. That's a whole different beast, right?
Okay. I mean, have you had success using YouTube to promote low ticket offers? Because everybody complains about how YouTube is actually better for high ticket stuff than lower ticket stuff.
It's definitely better for high ticket. But if you have an audience, an established audience over there, subscribers, lots of viewers, you can run essentially their version of retargeting ads to your low ticket offer just based off of those who are subscribed to you, right? You could also do the same thing with those who've engaged with any of your content, right? Maybe not the viewers, but at least those who've reacted or commented or shared it, and then those who subscribe to your channel. That's the same type of audience you would run ads to on Meta, right? Those who follow your Instagram, they follow your Facebook page, they've engaged with it. That's a great retargeting audience to start with. And you can upload your email list into YouTube as well and to Google as a whole. And think about all the people who maybe haven't bought your low ticket offer. Run ads to them just from the list. So it's just another property where you could do some heavy duty retargeting, see if it works over there. If it doesn't, you turn it off and you go back to running Meta, or you run them both side by side and see which one gives you a better conversion cost over time.
Okay. And do you do this all manually, or do you also use AI to help you with your marketing?
I use AI primarily for ad copy structures,
Okay.
page copy structures. And by the way, I don't rely on it to do all of it. We're still plugging in frameworks that we know work. So for example, if we run a client campaign that converts well, we use the client's landing page structure and the copy as a framework. Oh, these are the different bullet points we have on the page. This is how many headlines, how many subheadlines. We use those as examples in the frameworks we build into AI. So if we know that this product is producing a 4 ROAS on, for every dollar we spend, we make 4 across the funnel. Of course, I want that to be built into the LLM that we're using. So then I can say, I want to create something similar to this for my product. Here's the funnel structure. Here's how long the page is. Here's how many headlines and subheadlines and images. I want to recreate that, but for me. So I need that information in order to create the process of making the copy. But even then, when we make the copy, I'm still going back through it and critiquing it to sound like me. It's not 100%, but it could do 80 to 90%, right? And
Okay.
most copy doesn't come out conversational. It comes out very robotic. And I don't talk like a robot. I have conversations with people, right? And so I'm oftentimes going back and making the adjustments of like, how's it do I speak to people? Do I say certain words or do I not? And I want to make sure that I replace that so it sounds like I wrote it.
Mhm.
So that's how we're utilizing AI quite a bit. And most people just say, oh, you're just using GPT. I'm not. I'm using GPT. I'm using Claude. I'm using GenSpark. I'm using Notebook LLM for, turning my content into like audio podcast. Like I'm using all sorts of stuff, right? But we oftentimes will use GPT just for ideation, not even for the writing. We're just using it to come up with ideas, right? But we're using GenSpark the most for page structure and for creating long form content. I'm using Claude for blog posts or carousel content on social. So it's like every LLM has a different purpose. And if I didn't have these frameworks or if I didn't have winning tests for other people, I wouldn't have anywhere to start. But I'm able to at least see what's working and recreate those same processes for myself in
Okay.
AI.
And are you using the traditional version, or have you got some sort of MCP setup where everything connects?
Um, I would say it's the more traditional versions, but like we make it work in our way, right? So it's like I have a lot of things organized in the sense where it's like we know the purpose of each tool, right?
Okay.
I know everyone now is trying to like make their own back end, cross intersection of all these different tools, and I have my own program where I can log in and it uses all the LLMs, consistently together, so it all works. It's like I'm not doing all that, right? We have a internal document that tells us, all right, if we're doing these sets of tasks, this is the tool to use. If we're doing these sets of tasks, use this tool. And it's a team-based account for everything if it's available. So then we're able to keep track of everything accordingly, right? All client account ideations done in here. All client account AI copy for ads is done in here. All stuff for page is over here. And once again, we're using it to build out at least 80%. We're not using it for all of it. So we're still going back and critiquing. We're still going back and making adjustments, but at least speeds up our implementation.
Okay. Okay. And I know that you've had a lot of success stories with running ads and building funnels. Would you be okay with sharing one or two results that you've helped clients achieve? You can keep their names anonymous, no problem. We just want to know some of the, yeah.
So there's a very popular tracking platform that's out there right now amongst the marketing community where it, the individual who runs that company is one of my most successful clients of all time. Um, we basically helped him scale to 7 figures a month in his business before he got to the point where he was expanding into building a massive team and then became basically an 8 to 9 figure company afterwards.
Okay.
But we were helping him scale his education, which then allowed him to scale his back end development company simultaneously. It was like we bring people in for education, and then, oh, we have this tool that we would love for you to integrate as part of this education, because the goal is that they wanted to bring more people to the tool long term. Right. And so they would take that education, utilize it, get results with it. Can you use this tool as part of that process of you advertising this opportunity and seeing how it performs for you? And then over time, that tool just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the education wasn't the focus anymore. But we were a part of that situation where it went from basically a 5 figure a month opportunity and took it to 7 figures a month just from the education side. And we were a part of that phase before they just exploded after that. The
Okay.
great thing is, because we were involved in the early stages, that CEO of that company gave us a glowing testimonial that has still given me business to this day. It was about 7 years ago we did work with this guy. We worked with him for about a year, and it's led to nothing but great case studies and clients and things of that nature ever since. And he continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so it looks good on us. We've also worked with a very popular top 5 gym franchise in the United States, and they couldn't figure out ads at all. They were growing through referrals, word of mouth, and I would say a lot of influencer work, right? And they couldn't get ads to work at all, not even to get free trials. 3-day pass, 7-day pass, 30-day pass. They couldn't get them to work. And we saw they were using a lot of influencers. So we said, you know what? Let us determine the type of influencers you need, and then let us run ads behind it. So that way we could see the type of influencers you need to bring on from this point forward, so we can actually bring on more members. Because no one was doing that. They were hiring influencers for one thing and then running ads for another. They weren't using them together. And so when we did the first round, we were the first agency team to come on board that got them results from using both influencers and ads simultaneously. Not only was it successful, it was the first time they ever had the general company corporate page generate leads and not individual franchise pages. So we were actually using the corporate account, and we were getting people signing up all over the nation for these passes because of the fact that we were using general campaigns across every franchise. So all these different franchises were getting new business. And then on top of that, we're running this again, but with a whole different group of influencers. We're not even using the same people. And we've developed a whole plan for them that now they're able to reuse and repurpose every quarter. And every quarter has different messaging. So now we're able to promote individual franchises, the whole group of franchises, the corporate brand internationally and the corporate brand domestically, all because we figured out how to get people to get this pass and convert into a paying customer thereafter, when they couldn't figure this out for years. And we figured it out within about 4 months.
Okay.
So now, like, we are about maybe a couple months away from starting to take over the advertising of individual franchises across different pockets of the United States. And they have hundreds and hundreds of franchises all over the US. So over time, we're going to be taking over all their advertising.
That's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the call and sharing all of this useful information. Uh, can you tell my listeners more about where they can learn more about you and connect with you, learn about your company, and how they can contact you if they want to hire you? And I believe you also have a course where you teach people how to run ads.
Yeah. So if you want to learn how to do what I do on your own, right? You want to learn how to run paid advertising on Meta, Google, TikTok, and a variety of other platforms. Convertuniversity.com is where I put all that information. Not only do I put the information in there, you get templates, you get access to the frameworks we use. You are seeing what I'm doing in real time, what's working now. I put it all in there. And it's an ever growing community of people and content that shows you what's actually working. It's not just AI generated stuff thrown in there. It's what's being used and working now, which is important in the marketplace. If you are like, I don't want to do any of this myself and I'd rather you just do it for me, I do offer the done for you side through convertroi.com. That's my agency. We, are a small boutique agency where we, create individual campaigns for the clients and help them achieve the goals they're looking to achieve. And so if you're looking for more of the hand-holding process of running the advertising for you, that's where you would go for that. I also offer coaching in case anyone wants to have someone walk them through the process of becoming a better media buyer or growing their agency. That's just easily just finding me on any of the social platforms and then just messaging me directly. We could talk about that. I'm on Facebook and Instagram the most. So if you just search facebook.com/SCHLOSSY, Schlossie, that's my nickname. You could just DM me over there on Facebook. I see it. Or you can go to Instagram. It's David M. Schloss, and that goes straight to my profile, and you can DM me there. I will answer. And that's where I post all the time, right? So Facebook, Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. You could find me with my name, but I answer everywhere. So whatever platform you're on, just message me directly with what you're looking for and seeing how I could best support you, and we'll just take it from there.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll include links to both your Facebook and Instagram account below the video, and I'll also link to both Convert ROI and Convert University to make it easy for people to find you.
Sure.
And thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for everyone who listened in, and have a great day. Bye.